Hi! This is my first post because I really need help figuring out how to feel right now. My boyfriend and I have been dating for just over 6 months. Lately, we haven't been able to spend much time together. We've both been busy with work, and his dad has been sick, so it's been a rough few weeks. About a month ago, we decided to take a vacation together during a national holiday that's happening now. We're both early in our careers and don't earn much yet, but we agreed to dip into our savings for a beach trip to a nearby country. We were really looking forward to it, staying in hotels, swimming, relaxing, just enjoying ourselves. He handled most of the basic planning, chose the travel dates, booked the hotels, and mapped out our route between the islands. He's been messaging me almost every day this week with weather updates and ideas for what we could do. Even though I've been swamped with work, I made time earlier this week to help out with the schedule and book a few activities for us, just to make sure we'd have everything ready. Everything had been going great. We were both clearly looking forward to the trip and had already spent a fair bit of money on it. I know he put down at least $1,000 for bookings, so he was definitely committed. Plus, this whole vacation was his idea. He invited me and planned most of it. Now, here's where things take a turn. Our flight was scheduled for 9:10 a.m. on the 30th, and we had loosely agreed to meet near my place around 7:30 to catch a taxi together. On the 29th, the day before the trip, I had some Wi-Fi issues at my apartment. Normally, my boyfriend sends me a good morning message, and even though I used to find them a little much, I've really come to appreciate them. I know it matters to him that I respond too. So, I went to a coffee shop to get online, and saw that he hadn't messaged me at all, which was strange. Still, I decided to surprise him and send the first good morning message for once, something I rarely get the chance to do since he works a 9 to 5 and I work remotely. I got to work on my project and didn't think too much about it. A little later, I sent him more ideas for our trip and asked if he was planning to bring any nice clothes in case we wanted to go out for a fancier dinner one evening. No response. Now, this guy is always on his phone. Usually, he replies so quickly it's almost overwhelming. But this time, hours went by, and still nothing. I knew he was at work, so I told myself not to overthink it. Honestly, sometimes I accidentally leave him on red for hours, because I'm just not glued to my phone like he is. So I tried not to make a big deal out of it. But still, it felt weird for him to go this long without replying. A few hours later, I sent him a booking confirmation for something on the trip. Still no reply. I finished up my work and went home. By 5:30 p.m., I knew he should be off work. I messaged him again. Nothing. An hour later, I tried once more because it was starting to really worry me. It was the night before our flight, and he wasn't responding at all. I called him a couple of times. No answer. At that point, I was seriously stressing. Around 7 o'clock, I walked over to his apartment. It's only about 5 minutes from mine. His bike was parked outside, so I knew he was probably home. I knocked on his door for about 20 minutes, but there was no response. I kept trying to come up with explanations. Maybe he had to work really late. Maybe he went out to dinner. Maybe his phone died or broke. I forced myself to go home, packed for the trip, and went to sleep. The next morning, still absolutely nothing. We had planned to leave at 7:30 a.m. I got up and got ready like we'd planned. I called him several times. Nothing. At 7:30, I went to the spot on the street where we usually meet. We had to leave by 8 o'clock at the very latest to make it to the airport on time. I kept messaging and calling him while I waited. Still no response. At 8:01, I walked back to his apartment. I knocked and pounded on his door, calling his name. Nothing. No answer. His shoes are still there. His bike hasn't moved since the day before. We missed our flight, and I literally sat outside his apartment door requesting a refund on the tickets. Somehow, I actually got the refund, and I canceled all the bookings I made. Everything went through. I'm devastated about missing our vacation. But just to be clear, I'm not mad about the money. I got most of it back. What's killing me is the fear. This man has been the perfect boyfriend. He brought me flowers when I got sick. He's always on time to pick me up. He plans our dates. We've never even argued. I don't think I've ever even seen him annoyed with me, and honestly, I can be a lot sometimes. The last time I saw him, on the 24th, he told me, "I love you" 3 times before I left. Then he texted me, saying he loved spending time with me, and I even got a sweet goodnight message later. Now, fast forward to today, and I haven't heard a single word from him. I'm heartbroken. At this point, I've accepted that he probably wasn't home when I knocked. Otherwise, I would have heard something. So I went home, broke down in tears, ordered pizza and wine, and basically messaged him 100 times. I called nonstop, still nothing. And here's the thing, I don't have any way to reach his family. I haven't met them yet. I've only met a few of his friends and coworkers in passing, so I don't have any of their numbers either. Why would I? I thought I'd have time for that later. I know where he works, kind of, but I don't know the name of his company or where his actual office is. English isn't my first language, and names are hard for me to remember sometimes. He might have told me once, but I must have forgotten. So right now, I have zero way to contact anyone. If something bad has happened, if he's in the hospital, for example, no one would even think to contact me. As I write this, it's the evening of the 30th. I just got back from his apartment again, and his bike is still there. Nothing's moved. I even left a handwritten note taped to his door with my contact info in case someone else stops by and can reach me. I just don't know what else to do. I feel helpless. I'm scared. My brain is spinning through every worst-case scenario. He takes that bike everywhere, so why hasn't it moved? Why didn't he cancel the trip or say anything? He spent a lot of money and was so excited. It doesn't make sense. And here's another thing. Where I live, you need your phone for nearly everything. Taxis, metro, etc. And even if his phone died or broke, there are charging stations and repair shops all over. It wouldn't take more than an hour to fix or replace a phone, so I've been trying to come up with something, anything, that makes sense. The only thing I can think of is maybe his dad, who's been sick, had an emergency, and he had to leave town on the 29th to go see him. And then somehow he lost his phone while traveling, and with everything going on, he hasn't had the chance to get a new one yet. We only talk on WeChat, and he might not have my number memorized. So if he got a new phone, he wouldn't be able to log in or contact me right away. I've cried more today than I have in the past year. If anyone has ideas, other things I can try, or even other possible explanations, please tell me. I'm so scared. I can't stop thinking, what if he fell and hit his head? What if he's on the other side of that door and he's not okay? But I'm not about to go full crazy and call the cops. Though I'm considering it at this point because the image won't leave my head and something is wrong. I can feel it. Please help me. Edit. Thanks for telling me I'm not overreacting. This was what I needed to actually try to contact the cops. Update. He's not dead. Okay, so it's been a crazy night. For everyone asking why I hadn't already gone to the cops, it had only been a day and a half, and I live in a very safe place, so I didn't want to overreact. People have always told me I blow stuff up, so I'm very cautious about it now. I know I probably should have gone earlier, though. Anyway, I left my house and tried to find a police station, but all I could find were traffic violation stations, so I called in. Even though I have the speech capabilities of an 11-year-old in Chinese and told them what was going on. There was a nice woman on the phone, and she was very helpful and patient, and sent over some officers to meet me and help me. They immediately take my case very seriously, but I still have the problem of not really having much info to give them. They asked if I had a picture of his ID, and I was like, no. And so it took them a long time to find his record in the system. They were ready to go with me to do a house check, but then they got an update on the system and asked if I was okay going with them to the station, and I of course was. So I get there, and they ask me a few more questions like, if we were fighting, no we weren't, etc. Then the officers who I'm talking to get a bit nervous and one types something into his phone and shows me a translation, and it says, your boyfriend was arrested 2 days ago. I felt so many emotions, and I'm still reeling. I barely slept last night, and I have been worried sick and crying all day, and so I'm relieved that he's fine. He's not dead or hurt or sick or in a coma or something. But at the same time, he's arrested. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, quite frankly. They couldn't tell me why he was arrested because the case isn't closed, but they took down my number and said they'd call me. But yeah, I'm so exhausted from this whole ordeal, since I know people will ask. He's a great guy, a very nice person. He does, however, have very little regard for rules and regulations. He is a driver on his bike and often cuts off cars. Also, he's not an angry person ever, but I can kind of seeing him getting in a fight if there's a good reason, at least in his own mind. I know he once got in an altercation with someone early in our relationship for cursing out his mother, but both of those mean you are held in custody until they figure out the case. If it's just a minor traffic violation or a fight, he'll be out in a few days and probably pay a fine. If it's something worse, well, then maybe I shouldn't be seeing him anyway. Anyway, thanks for everyone who commented and made me feel like I wasn't overreacting or being a crazy girlfriend. I'll update if I ever find out what he did. Edit 1. The more I think about it, he had to have been arrested early on Tuesday, so probably not a fight or anything. Maybe something he was caught on camera for. Edit 2. When I say he has little regard for rules, I mean, compared to me, it's very typical here. Bikes are illegal in this city, so I'm told. And yet, I almost get hit by one daily. Jaywalking is illegal, and yet he and everyone else does it all the time. Also, you can get held in custody for very minor things, which is why I haven't blacklisted him quite yet. Like once a guy yelled slurs at a group of my friends and called my black friend the N-word, and the police detained him for 3 days for disturbing the peace. Not saying my BF would do that, but you can get detained for parking tickets.